What are some minor wedding regrets that still annoy you? Does anyone else have some petty or small wedding regrets that they know are dumb but still annoy them? Here are mine. We had our day in fall 2023 and it was 99% amazing. The most important things were taken care of, and the marriage is what really matters most. So I know it's not that serious, but I just wanted to make a post about this because it's totally valid to feel this way, especially after spending tons of money, even if everyone says the small details don't matter. Number 1. I regret picking our color scheme and wedding style based on outside opinions and what was trendy at the time. My favorite color is purple, and I initially wanted to do a very dark and moody plum color for bridesmaid dresses, but couldn't let go of comments that some of my friends had made in the past about how they hate that color, how it's dated for a wedding, how it looks terrible on them, and etc. I hadn't ever mentioned it before, so it's not like they knew I wanted this specific color and intentionally bashed it. And there's still good friends who would have sucked it up and worn it for me, but I couldn't help but feel insecure at the time and like everyone would still hate my choice. My seal also got married a few months before us and is the chillest, most free-spirited person ever, who let her bridesmaids pick their own dresses. So I sort of latched onto that idea because I wanted to be the chill bride too, and also really got in my own head about how I had to be the funky and different. Definitely my biggest I'm not like most girls moment, and I'm not proud of it. I ended up having my maids get their own mismatched dresses in multiple fall colors, and it ended up being unique and super pretty. So it's not like I didn't like how it turned out, and I'm glad they were happy with their dresses. In hindsight though, I wish I had gone with my gut and been more assertive and confident about what I actually wanted, without fear of judgment or concern for how I wanted it to be perceived. It did feel a little bit like I was trying too hard to please everyone and follow the trendy fall boohoo theme that's all over Pinterest right now. Number 2. Ordering a non-returnable dress online and prioritizing my love for the brand that my dress came from more than my love for the dress itself. My dress was absolutely beautiful, but I would have chosen a different one now. I got it made by an indie bridal brand who I had been following for a while online. I love their style and commitment to sustainability and ethical fashion, so I was dead set on ordering a dress from there no matter what, as opposed to from a more traditional shop. I don't hate the way it looked on me, and I loved my veil and accessories, but I wish I'd given myself a chance to try on more dresses in person before going this route, and it felt like I was settling. It was amazing in the online photos, and it fit well, but I've seen tons of other dresses since that I would have liked personally more on myself. I was also a lot more insecure about my body last year. Long story short, I was on medication that wasn't right for me and always looked bloated. So I was super uncomfortable with dress shopping and not as excited about it as I would be now. Number 3. Not hiring a florist. I started out thinking this service was a waste of money and ended up assembling the flower arrangements myself and doing a ton of DIYs with my husband, which were fun, but not all of them turned out well. In general, the reception space looked great, and I doubt anyone really noticed the imperfections, but I think a real florist would have done a better job. Also, tons of scrap projects and supplies down the drain mean we really didn't save all that much money at it in the long run. Number 4. Having a local wedding in my hometown on a Sunday. My husband is from a different state than I am, and we live in a totally different state now. So I idealized the concept of having our wedding back home where I grew up. We had a Sunday wedding since it was cheaper and dates were limited, but thinking back on it now, it wouldn't have been my first choice. Our venue was amazing, but 90% of my extended family and hometown friends were local within 20 minutes of the area, and they mostly left early from the reception, which is understandable since many of them had to work the next day and didn't take off since it was a local wedding, but it was just kind of a bummer. His family and our friends from out of state, who all took off work to be there and were ready to party, carried on to the dance floor and the after party. Number 5. Hiring local vendors with family ties. For context, my dad is in a band as his weekend hobby, and he recommended our wedding DJ to us because he knew them from our town's local music scene. This was all well and good until the reception started heating up, and the DJ handed him the mic. He ended up singing a cover of a classic wedding reception song, which is a little cringy, but also kind of made me laugh in a lovable, "Hey dad, you're embarrassing me" type of way. And our guests loved it and cheered him on. So I didn't mind it. But then the other drunk members of his band started trying to perform too, and tried turning it into a karaoke night, and I could tell people were starting to get confused and annoyed after the fun of singing along to the first songs wore off. Thankfully, they shut it down after a couple of songs, and we've learned to laugh now at how weird it was. But it did cut into almost 30 minutes of our reception. Lesson learned. Do not hire a DJ who knows your dad, and don't let your dad invite all of his band members. LOL. Comment if you have any other similar experiences, like and subscribe.